Ecology is the scientific study of interactions among organisms and between organisms that can be known as biotic factors because are all living things in an ecosystem and their physical environment, which can be called abiotic factors because are non-living things in an ecosystem. As I said before, ecology studies interactions, and to understand better these interactions, they classify them in levels of organization that are species, which is a group of similar organisms, then population, which is a group of individuals that belong to the same species and live in the same area, community, that is an assemblage of different populations that live in a definite area, but where all organisms live together with their environment, is known as an ecosystem. Then a biome is a group of ecosystems that share similar climates and typical organisms. And finally, the biosphere is our entire planet. To study interactions, ecologists use three methods that are observation, experimentation, and modeling. Dependent energy. Organisms need energy for growth, reproduction, and their own metabolic process. For most life on Earth, sunlight is the ultimate energy source. They do this by photosynthesis, in which capture light, energy, and uses it to power chemical reactions that convert carbon dioxide and water into oxygen and energy-rich carbohydrates such as sugars and starches. But others use chemosynthesis, in which chemical energy is used to produce carbohydrates. The organisms that can do this are called autotrophs or primary producers, because they are the first producers of energy-rich compounds that are later used by other organisms called heterotrophs or consumers that rely on other organisms for energy and nutrients. There are many types of consumers, like carnivores that kill and eat other animals, herbivores that eat plant leaves, roots, seeds, or fruits. Scavengers are animals that consume the carcasses of other animals that have been killed by predators or have died for other causes. Omnivores, which eat both plants and animals. Decomposers, such as bacteria and fungi, that feed by chemical breaking down organic matter. And detritivores, that commonly digest discomposer and in one-way stream, from primary producers to various consumers. A food chain is a series of steps in which organisms transfer energy by eating and being eaten. A set of many food chains is made a food web. Each step in a food chain or food web is called trophic level. Ecological pyramids show the relative amount of energy or matter contained within each trophic level. There are three types of ecological pyramids: the pyramid of energy, that shows the relative amount of energy available at each trophic level of a food chain or food web. The pyramid of biomass illustrates the relative amount of living organic matter available at each trophic level in an ecosystem. And a pyramid of numbers shows the relative number of individual organisms at each trophic level in an ecosystem. Elements pass from one organism to another and among parts of the biosphere through closed loops called biochemical cycles. Cycles of matter involve biochemical processes, geological processes, and chemical processes. Human activity can also play an impact. Water continuously moves between the ocean, the atmosphere, and land, sometimes outside living organisms and sometimes inside them. This is called the water cycle. The chemical substances that an organism needs to sustain life are called nutrients. Every organism needs nutrients to build tissues and carry out life functions. Like water, nutrients pass through organisms and the environment through biochemical cycles. The three pathways or circles that move carbon, nitrogen, and phosphorus through the biosphere are especially critical for life. Carbon is a major component of all organic compounds, including carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Carbon is such a key ingredient of living tissue and ecosystem that life on Earth often is described as carbon-based life. Although nitrogen gas is the most abundant form of nitrogen on Earth, only certain types of bacteria can use this form directly. These bacteria convert nitrogen gas into ammonia, a process known as nitrogen fixation. Other bacteria obtain energy by converting nitrogen into nitrogen gas, which is released into the atmosphere in a process called centrifugation. Unlike carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen, phosphorus does not enter the atmosphere in significant amounts. Phosphorus, in the form of inorganic phosphate, remains most on land, in the form of fossil rock and soil minerals, and in the ocean. Other organic phosphate moves through the food web